In this video, we're going to install Python on a Windows 11 machine. My current setup is I have Windows 11 installed in VMware's workstation, and I have Chrome installed as well. Now I went to python.org here where we can download the latest version and install it. But prior to doing that, what I'm going to do is check to see if Python is already installed on this machine. Sometimes if you have multiple versions of Python, it can get confusing. So I always like to have a fresh start, especially when you're learning something new. I'm going to minimize the browser here, and I'm going to open up the command prompt by going to search and type in CMD. Now I'm going to type in Python space dash dash version, hit enter. Now it tells me Python was not found. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that Python is not installed on this machine. This may mean the path variable is not set. And we will do some checks here to make sure. Now, if Python had been installed, it would return a version. And if it returns a version, you have a decision to make. One, you can stop this video, or two, you can move on to the verification steps, or you can uninstall your own version and install the latest version. I'm going to close the command prompt, and we're going to open up the control panel to do another verification step. We're going to do control panel, and we're going to go into programs and features. Anytime you install something in Windows, it puts a record in the control panel. And as I scroll through my list here, I do not see where Python is listed. So we can definitely say, hey, Python's not here. Now I'm going to close out the programs and features. And I want to talk just a little bit about the path variable. Now the path variable on Windows 11 is an environment variable that tells the operating system where to look for executable programs. Whenever we type in Python, it needs to know where that executable is located. So the path variable is a list of directories that it's going to search through. So what this means is you can run programs without having to type the full path to their location. It's going to make life a whole lot easier. What we can do now is open the web browser back up, go to python.org, which is the golden source. You always want to install Python from the golden source. This website does a fairly good job of determining what operating systems you're using. So I'm going to hover over downloads. It knows that I'm on a Windows. As I said at the time of this recording, the latest version is 3.13.2. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that to download it. And once the download is complete, let's go ahead and click on the executable to start the install process. Minimize the browser because we don't need it anymore. Now we have two options here. We have install now, and we have a custom install, and then the two checkboxes down here at the bottom. So what we're going to do is add python.exe to the path. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to select the other checkbox as well. Use admin privileges when install py.exe. Click on custom install. And then we go to the optional features. I'm going to leave all those selected by default, and I'm going to click next. Now, what I want to do is install Python 3.13 for all users. We'll talk about that when we look at the path variable in more details a little bit later on. When I click on that, notice the custom path changes. And I'm going to take a quick look at some of these other things. We don't need debugging symbols or binaries or anything like that. I don't want to install my version into the C drive, programs in Python 3.13. I want to change that. So I'm going to click Browse. I am going to go to the C drive, and I'm going to create a new folder simply called Python. And click on Make Folder again, because I'm going to create another folder of the version. You can have multiple versions of Python installed on your machine. And if you know what you're doing, it's very easy to switch between the two. So I'm going to hit OK now. So the custom install location is Python 3.13. So I'm going to click Install to start the process. UAC pops up, so I'm going to go ahead and click yes and start the install process. Now at this time, you may want to pause the video until your installation completes. Now that setup was successful, we have a little box here asking us if we want to disable path length limit. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. UAC pops up, so I'm going to go ahead and click yes. I'm going to click close. What we're going to do is go back through our verification steps to see if everything was successful. So I'm going to go back to the command prompt. I'm going to type in CMD. And I'm going to type in Python space -- version. Hit enter. Now it has returned with our version. This is telling me that Python is installed. It's installed successfully with the path variable set, because I'm running this command in the C users folder. And as you know, we installed Python in the C Python 3.13 folder. So we can run the Python command anywhere on this machine, and it's going to know where it's at. Now what I can do is do an echo %path. This is going to list all the directories in which the Windows is going to look for our Python executable. And if you notice, the very first one is Python /313. If you ever forget where you install Python, you can type in this command, where Python, and it returns two directories here. The first one is where we install Python. The second one is a symbolic link to the Windows Store. So at this point in time, let's go ahead and close out of the command prompt. Let's go into the control panel. And let's go back to programs and features. As we scroll through this list, this time we see where Python is installed. We see what date we installed it on, the size of it, the version. And we also see that Python launcher was installed. Now I'm going to close out of the command prompt, and we will take a visual look at the path variable. So if we go to search and we type in environment variables, I have this option to edit the system environment variables. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. The systems property dialog box pops up, and at the bottom we go click on environment variables. Now it has two options here: user variables for the particular user that's logged in, and we have this path variable. So I'm going to go ahead and click on edit. So you notice there's nothing in here about Python because we selected to install Python for all users. So I'm going to go ahead and get cancel, and I'm going to go down here to the system-wide variables, click on path, then we'll click on edit. Again, we see the list of variables that we printed out earlier. The very first one is Python 3.13 scripts. The second one is C Python 3.13. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and click OK, OK, OK. I'm going to open up the command prompt one more time, and I'm going to do a CMD. And what I'm going to do this time is type Python. And what we're going to do is go into the REPL, which stands for read, evaluate, print, and loop. We got the three arrows. And I'm going to type a command. I'm going to print something. I'm going to do print. And I'm going to do a single quote. Hello, world. Another single quote. And I'm close parentheses. Print is a built-in function. In most cases in Python, we can use the single quote and the double quote interchangeably, and we can talk more about that in another video. I am going to hit enter now, and it's going to print hello world to the screen. So at this point, we have created a simple application. We created a one-line statement here, and everything works successfully, so everything's good. Now in the next video, what we're going to do is talk about installing a IDE. Remember, the world's most successful developers were once beginners just like you. All it takes is curiosity, patience, and persistence. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tips, tutorials, and beginner-friendly programming content. Your journey into the world of coding is just beginning, and I can't wait to help you every step of the way. Python is a fantastic language for all sorts of programming projects. If you have any questions or need further assistance, feel free to leave comments below. Thank you for watching and happy coding.